Hey guys, so today I wanted to go over a guide for getting your personal finance in order, and this is something I use daily. This is a free Excel sheet that you can find in the description below. The only skill you will need to know is a general understanding of Excel, but we are using Google Sheets, which is basically the same thing. I don't know what I would specifically call this, but I think this is similar to like balancing a checkbook or something. And I think it's a good way in order to get your personal finance organized and to hopefully, be able to save more money, limit how much you excess spend and things like that. I want to say I'm not a personal finance advisor or anything like this, but I've just been using this type of thing for years, and I rarely miss a bill payment or anything. And even if I do, it's just because it's a day late and it was on a weekend or something. I want to say this isn't about keeping track of spending for a year. You're not going to know how much you spent on coffee by the end of the year when you do this, but you will have a general understanding and general guidance of what you're spending on, when you're spending it, and basically just kind of hopefully helping you save more money, investing more money, whatever it may be. So like I said, this sheet is going to be available for everybody. I will also show what my personal sheet looks like. I'm going to redact some things just because I don't want people's opinions based off what they see in my bank account and stuff. But I just in general want you to have a good understanding of what I do with it and how I use it. So as you can see, we have three tabs on the bottom. We have budget, we have paycheck calculator, and bank account. We're going to start with budget first, and we're going to go through it all. And hopefully you have a good understanding of what's going on. Please work along with me if you like, or just watch the video and do it afterwards. Feel free to pause the video, and hopefully I don't go too fast. But let's get right into it. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on weekly cost here. So as you can see, we have weekly cost here, and these are the things that happen each week for you. They're pretty consistent, but they're also, there's some varying stuff. So a grocery trip, gas for your vehicle, lunch throughout the week, maybe a morning coffee, maybe you eat dinner out on Friday or Saturday night with your significant other, just whatever it may be. But these are weekly cost, and basically you can formulate here. So this is what you can say your estimated cost is. So it depends on your vehicle, obviously, but let's say you buy gas 2 times at $30, so that's a total of $60. Same thing with lunch, where it costs you $10, so $90. Groceries, you do one big grocery trip and it costs you $150. Coffee, you buy yourself and your significant other coffee every day, so $35, and then just a random miscellaneous just to round it up to $400 and dinner out. If you need to add to this, just obviously you can come in and right click and go insert one row above. Let's just say this is breakfast or something. You like your Egg McMuffins, so that's $3, and you do that 7 times. So you just come down here, you can drag this down, and it should automatically calculate it here. But I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this breakfast tab just to keep it consistent. Work it the best way you can and just do whatever you need to. With lunch, for example, my lunches typically cost me about $8.50, but when I calculate it myself, I round it up to $9 just because I want to overestimate the cost that it does cost me to do it. But you can do whatever you want. So what I want to get through when it comes to this is that it's not so much knowing where every single dollar is, but it's just getting organized. And if you spend outside of what your weekly cost is, it's not a big deal. Now, obviously, if you're doing it consistently, you should probably up your weekly cost, just so you are basically formulating it correctly with what your paycheck is coming in as. But in general, if you overspend, I've overspent, it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. So our total weekly cost that we're going with is $400. I will say I'm formulating this for basically a married couple, the way that I do with myself and my fiance. So if the numbers seem high or low or something, obviously it's not a one size fit all thing. You have to customize it. But yeah, so that's that. I want to give that information to you going forward too. So now that we covered weekly costs, let's go over monthly cost. All right, so right here we have monthly costs, and these are the things that happen once a month for you. So whether that's a Netflix subscription, your rent, mortgage, your water bill, your car payment, your internet bill. If you're a man, you may get a haircut once a month. If you're a woman, you may get a haircut every 3 months. I'm just basing that off of what I actually go through. You have student loans, phone bill, maybe subscriptions, Netflix, Hulu, whatever. car insurance, oil change. You want to save money for new clothes. You want to save, you want your wife to get her nails done, your girlfriend to get her nails done, whatever it may be. And then also this gas, food, mist down here is directly correlated to this total weekly cost of $400. And what I do for this is there's 52 weeks in a year, and then I divide that by the 12 months. So instead of being, it's basically higher than just what 1600, 400 times 4 would 400 times 4 weeks would be 1600, but it actually calculates for all of the weeks in the year, and that's kind of what you get. And right down here you have your total living cost, and this number is consistent. Like I said, if you need to insert something, you can either just come in and drag this down and be like, here's this bill that I forgot or something, or you can come in and hit insert, and then you will need to formulate all this stuff over here. But let's get rid of that. So that pretty much covers it for our monthly cost. Now I want to move on to our yearly cost and yearly events. All right, next up we have your yearly events, and these are just basically birthdays and holidays, whatever it may be. You might have a yearly subscription or something. I don't know exactly. Oh, like for example, I have PlayStation Plus on mine just because I buy PlayStation Plus, and this just kind of calculates the total of everything. That's pretty much all you need to do. Just obviously you need to go through and formulate your budget. Probably the first time you do this, you might miss a bill or something, but that's not the end of the world. Like I said, it's kind of a thing going forward. You change it as it goes on, and it basically hopefully helps you get your finances in order. Now that we have this all set up, I want to show you what I do with my paycheck, and you don't have to do this, but I like to do it, and it helps me formulate what I need to do and where my savings should go along those lines. So what we're going to go do next is we're going to look over at our Paycheck Calculator. So here we have our Paycheck Calculator. And so what this does is it depends on what savings account you want. I pretty much think people should have a car, house, emergency, and miscellaneous savings account. Car could either be car maintenance, you're trying to pay off your car loan. House could be house maintenance, you're trying to pay off your mortgage early, you're saving up for a house. Emergency, God forbid, you lose your job, along those lines. And then miscellaneous is just like something for you. Maybe you want to buy your wife a really nice coat or something, and this is the best way I think you should go about saving your money. And so what we're going to just assume is that your paycheck and your wife's paycheck are $1,400. Let's just keep it even. And so this living cost is actually directly tied to this budget sheet. It is directly tied to this number right here, this $4,437.33. This is also assuming that you are paid every 2 weeks. If you are not paid every 2 weeks, you are paid every week or something, then this would just be, half of 1,400 is 700, and then you just you get rid of this 2 and make it 4. So basically, you're getting paid every week. But let's revert back to where we were. So this also takes that budget number, times it by 12 months, because that's what's going to come through and happen. You're going to be paying this amount most likely, or about that amount, 12 times in the year, and then you divide it by the 26 weeks. And then if you and your significant other are splitting the cost, then you can divide that by 2. Now this budget, this is the yearly budget. Basically, this is what I like to do with this number. And again, you can do whatever you want. This is what we're looking at, like the holidays and birthdays. I actually have a separate savings account that I put this money into. And what this does is this allows, when Christmas time comes up, I have the funds in that savings account, and I pull those funds out and spend it on Christmas. That way it's not like, oh, I have rent coming up and I have Christmas coming up. I don't have to worry about that. Sometimes I just don't have the budget funds there, and that's really not a big deal, but I have some there, and I can, pull a little bit out if need be. So now that we have this established, then it calculates into your remaining. So basically this is just the 1,400 minus the 1,024 minus the 2,740. And then based off whatever you want to calculate this as, this is 25%, right? Or this is 50%, excuse me. This is 50%. If you only want to save 40% of what is remaining of your paycheck, then there you go. Now, if you want to save a certain percentage of what your paycheck is, you will need to do some math on the side and figure out what these percentages should be. But basically, if you just want to come in here and you say, oh, I want to save, you could save all of your paycheck, all of what is remaining of your paycheck. And there you go. That's where it would put you at. And then basically for the wife one, you can be a woman doing this too. I'm basing it off of what I do. Basically, I just have this equal to this amount and equal to this amount because it should be the same. And you can change the percentages here too. So let's just go back to 10%. So now that we have established our paycheck calculator, I'm going to show you what you should do every time you get a paycheck if you want to follow this guide. So we are over here on our bank accounts, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to catch you up to where you should be for the week. So basically, it's going to be varying based off the dates that you use. But let's pretend that right now we have $1,500 currently in our bank account, and that's what our bank account balance says. So what you would come in, you would just say, I want this to equal 1,500. You just copy whatever is in your main bank account and just put it in there. So we're going to pretend that today is 1/1 of 2022. As you can see the dates over here, that would be the Saturday. So what we want to do is we want to catch up to when our next paycheck is going to be. So our next paycheck, for example, I wrote over here, our next paycheck is 1/7/2022. So what I want to do is I want to go to my budget amount, and I want to go to my monthly budget, and I want to take all of the dates. So we have our rent on the first, our water bill on the first, we invest in stocks on the 6th, and we have charity that we give to charity on the 7th. So we're going to come here, we're going to go copy, and we're going to paste it right here. And then we're going to come into here in our spendable amount, and we're going to hit minus 1,200, minus 60 for the water bill, minus 100 for the stocks, and minus 50 for charity. And that puts us at $90. So our actual spendable amount until our next paycheck is only $90. And I'm also forgetting that we also have a weekly budget of $400 in there too. So we should really do minus 400. But we won't do that just yet. And I'll go over that basically in the future. So now we want to accelerate to when we're paid next, and we're going to say that us and our wife are paid on the same day. So we're going to say it's the 7th of 2022. That's a Friday right here. So we're going to come in here. We're going to go plus 1,400 plus another 1,400 for both of our paychecks. Now with our paycheck calculator, this is something that I like to do, and I've linked it kind of here too. But basically, I've just taken the amounts that these are, and I've just basically done 3486 plus 3486 gives us the 6972. Here's our budget amount. So what I like to do is I like to come here. I like to copy it and then paste it. But we have it right here, so I'm just going to copy it. You need to Control C and then go paste special, paste values only, so that way they stay the same. You come into here, you go minus 54.81, minus 69.72, minus 69.72, minus 69.72, minus 69.72, and we're still at our 4,300. Also, because it's the 7th, we've paid off these bills too. So now that we've taken those out, we have $2,890 in our bank account. So next up we want to do is we want to cover the 2 weeks till our next paycheck. So we got paid the 7th, so we want to cover the 8th to the 21st. So we want to go to our budget amount. We want to grab all of them from the 8th to the 21st. We're going to go copy, and we're going to paste it. So now we need to go minus 300, minus 50 for the internet, minus 30 for our haircut, minus 50 for the wife's haircut, minus 324 for the student loans, minus 75 for the phone bill, minus 20 for our Netflix or whatever that subscription is. And then you can also go ahead and start moving these to a savings account, or you can leave it in there just to get the extra bank interest if you want. I don't do that, but I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to move this to the savings account. So I'm just going to copy this because it's basically the same thing as doing it, and we're just going to put this right down here, and this is going to be our savings account. So I'm going to get rid of all this because it is now transferred out of our bank account. And what this down here is for you is it should be a check of what your bank account is. And basically all this does, it takes this number plus all of these amounts that have not been taken out. And basically what I'm going to going forward is we're just going to do a couple cycles of this just so you have a good understanding of what it looks like. Obviously, you don't have to do it, but if it just helps you get organized and just helps you know where you should put your money at and all that stuff, then I think that's great. Honestly, you don't even need to do this amount, but I do think that a lot of people should look at the budget and the paycheck calculator and figure out how much they can be putting into savings and do it that way, because it is important to have savings, at least have an emergency savings of anything. that's the biggest thing I think people should have is if you're single, you should probably have about 5 months of savings. If it's you and your significant other, you should probably have 6 months. And then if you have kids, I would say about a year of savings. Now that is a daunting task, and it will take time to do that. But that is in a ideal world. Obviously, that's not very plausible. I don't even have 5 months saved up, but I do have, I think, three or 4 months right now. So yeah, let's do a couple more cycles of this. So today's the 7th. So let's go ahead and just accelerate just 1 week. It's not our paycheck day, but we'll just accelerate 1 week. Let's say we've spent 400 of our weekly budget, and we want to take out everything that's not up to the 14th. So basically, we've gotten our haircut, we paid our internet bill, and we paid our car payment. And our wife's haircut. So for example, my significant other, her haircut cost her about $150 or so. And she gets it every 3 months. So I basically took 150 divided by 3. So we're going to leave the wife's haircut for now. Now let's accelerate to our next paycheck day, which is the 21st over here. So it's now the 21st of January, and we paid our student loans, our phone bill, and our subscription. So our wife's haircut's the only thing that remains. See how the current and bank account is always changing. And this is your check to see. So let's go and do one more week, and then I'll show you all the nitty gritty. What I like to do once a week too is why I have this copy here is it's just basically the same thing, but when you come in here to equal, you don't remember what that amount is. So that's why I have that there. It's just a little precaution to do. So I basically got rid of all those numbers just to kind of keep it a little bit better organized. So we got paid on the 21st. We want to go ahead and say we got our 1,400 paychecks, us and our wife. I'm just going to do 2,800. That's 1,400 times 2. So there's our amount. Now we want to go ahead and grab this. Like I said, this is directly linked to that Paycheck Calculator page right here. This is the adding. Also, if you have miscellaneous income, let's say you have a side hustle or something and you get income and you don't need to be taking taxes out on it, you can come down here and just enter this, whatever. You get money from grandma, you get money from your parents, whatever. You can come down here if you want to save it, or you can just obviously put it in your bank account, but I just kind of included that down here. But like I said, this amount's linked over here. So we'll just come here and we'll go copy. We'll paste the values only, and we just want to subtract these. And let's say we initiate the transfers to these bank accounts. So I'm just going to come in here and just go equal plus another 54.81, and then this is plus this is going to be plus the 69.72. And basically, let's just pretend I do that. I'm not going to do that for every single time just because that's a little bit tedious. This may feel like a lot, but when you're actually just doing it day to day, it's really not too overwhelming. So let's pretend I made all those transfers. I'm no longer going to worry about making these higher. I think you guys understand what exactly is happening. So now we want to grab our monthly budgets. Like I said, we need to cover 2 weeks to our next paycheck. So that's going to be the 22nd to the 4th. So let's go ahead and grab those. So we have this. Do not grab gas, food, and miscellaneous. That's just kind of there for an extra thing. So we're going to go copy. And we're going to go paste. And then we want to grab to the 4th. So we want our rent, mortgage, and our water bill. And paste it. All right, so now we want to come in and we want to subtract everything except our wife's haircut because that's already been subtracted. So 75 for electricity, 250 for our car insurance, 40 for an oil change, 25 for clothes for us, 55 for our wife's nails, 1,200 for our mortgage, and 60 for our water. So let's accelerate a week to the 28th. So let's say we paid all of this stuff. We haven't gotten around to getting an oil change. Our wife hasn't gotten her nails done, and it's not the first yet, so our mortgage isn't due. Our mortgage rent payment isn't due. So let's go ahead to the next payday, 2/4/22. Rent and mortgage came out. Our wife ended up getting her nails done. So now what I want to go over, and we also spent our weekly budget again. So that's what that 400 is. So we got paid again. So I'm just gonna make this. I'm gonna use the copy version. So now I'm going to show you what I do, and this is way more tedious, but it actually I really like doing it this way. And I'm going to show you what happens when you do tips and all this other stuff in here. So let's say we get paid again. So we're going to do 2,800 again. I'll just copy and paste the budget. I like to do the Paycheck Calculator part first. It doesn't really matter. It can go either way. So we're going to go minus 54.81, minus 69.72, minus 69.72. We initiate those transfers, and obviously you can move these accounts up and down if you want. It's really nice too. And plus, with this currently in bank account thing, you can drag all the way down and see how much money you actually have saved up, or how much money you actually have total. Now the spendable amount will be different, obviously. So for these next two pay periods, I want to go over something different. So we are covering the 4th in February. So we need to cover the 5th to the 18th to our next paycheck. So the 5th to the 18th. So we just come in here and copy all the way down. We want to go to the 18th. Let's go copy. And then we will paste this. And we will start subtracting all of these out. Minus 50, minus 300, minus 50, minus 30, minus 50, minus 324, and then minus 75. So see how we have wife's haircut twice? What you can come in is you can just make this 100, so 50 plus 50, and get rid of it. And it won't, it won't throw it off by any means. And then what I also like to do is I like to actually already pretend like I've spent my weekly 400, and then as the week goes on, I will decrease this amount. So I'll come in here, I'll go minus 400, minus 400. So I'll put 400 right here and 400 right here. It's really hard to see when you don't actually have a bank account, but this bank account amount should match if you are doing this correctly. So like I said, we want to cover the 4th. So let's go. What would that be? The 5th to the 11th. So 2.5.22 to 2.11.22. And then next we have 2.12.22 to 2.18.22, and so this covers the week. So let's go ahead and make it the 11th right here before our next paycheck, so the Friday before our next paycheck, and we go ahead and pay off. We do end up getting an oil change. Let's say that we do our stocks, get our haircut, internet bill, all that wonderful stuff. We'll move clothes up because that's what we're saving for that. And so during that time period, during this 400 weeks, we spent, let's say each day, you spent $8 on lunch. So that would be 8 times. I'm assuming in a work week. So that would be 8 times 5. So we'll do 40. And then we'll do, you bought groceries for 150. You went out to dinner for 55. So let's say it cost you 55 for dinner. And because my bank account does this, at least, it doesn't count the tip till way later on, like a couple days later. So let's say that dinner was $55, and that's including tip already. So it really was only $45, but you gave a nice generous tip. So you just come in here, make it the $10, and then I like to just give a note to myself, tip. So if I see that when I come into my bank account and see that, oh wow, my bank account currently has $3,034.93, I know that this tip came out. So let's go ahead and say that tip came out. And then let's just say we spent 120 more. So that leaves $35 left over. So with this 35, I actually like to move it to emergency or to one of my savings accounts. It's just something nice that I do, and I know, I underspent my weekly budget, so I'm going to move it to a savings account. Or you could come in and just, put it into this week, make it 435 if you'd like. So now we're going to go ahead and move to our next paycheck, which is the 18th, and this will be the last one that I do for you guys. And so we'll go ahead and say we paid our phone bill and our student loans. So we're going to go ahead and do the budget. Go ahead and grab the paycheck calculator. So let's go ahead and add our 2,800 real quick. Plus 2,800. So this is equal to 4755.93. We'll grab our budget, car, house, emergency, and MISC. These are our savings accounts. We need to pay special, so you get the values in there. So we initiate these transfers, move them out. We've also spent this money, but let's say we used a credit card during this week, which I don't mind people using credit cards if they can handle, obviously they can. If you are responsible enough to use a credit card, then I think you can use a credit card. And let's say we spent $410 this week, and we used credit card for our lunch. So we have a credit card payment that we need to be making. So like I said, let's do 8 times 50, and we use our credit card only on our lunches. So that would be 8 times 50, so we'll make this 40, right? And so we'll just make this a credit card payment. So you're basically moving $40 from this to this payment, and leaving 25 left over. And so let's say you're just waiting for that final transaction to actually hit the credit card account. So you're just going to leave it right there. And then let's take our next couple weeks. So we're going to go from the 18th of February to when our next paycheck is. So we grabbed the 18th already, so we're going to go the 19th to March 4th. So February 19th to March 4th. So you're looking 2 weeks ahead. If you are a weekly person, you can look 1 week ahead if you like. You can look 2 weeks ahead. I don't think it really matters that much. If you want to look 3 weeks ahead and grab all that stuff, I think that's fine too. I think that's a bit much, but basically you can cover your bases in whatever way. So like I said, we want to take the 19th to the 4th of March. So we'll come in, we'll grab everything past the 19th. Again, don't want to grab gas, food, or misc. We'll copy, paste this, paste values only. And then we'll come in and grab everything to the 4th, which should just be rent and water. And go like this. So we will say we want to subtract the 20 for the subscription, 75 for electricity, 250 for car insurance, 40 for oil change, 25 for clothes, 55 for wife, minus 1200 for the mortgage, and minus 60 for water. So basically it's just this cycle, and this seems like a lot right now. When you're actually doing it every time you get a paycheck, it's really not too bad. What I like to do is I come in every day and look at this and balance my bank account with what transactions were taken out. And that's just the way to keep up with your personal finances. No matter if you use this or not, to be on top of your personal finances, you do need to be looking at your bank account every 1 day, every 2 days, every 3 days at most, and just kind of being aware of what's going on in your bank account. And some people really despise looking at their bank account just because it seems awful to them, or it seems so bad. But you have to be doing it, especially if you want to be on top of your finances. So this is just a strategy I use. This sheet will be available. Now I want to show what my sheet kind of looks like, and it's not super chaotic, but it is somewhat chaotic. And I will go ahead and pull that up right now. All right, so I've gone ahead and redacted some of this stuff. Basically, yeah, like I said, you can't see like what's actually in my bank account, what I say that I'm able to spend. But as you can see, I really need an oil change really bad. I haven't spent that money yet. My fiance's name is Ashlyn. We're getting ready for a wedding, so I need my reimbursement back from Men's Warehouse. So basically my bank account is saying $40 less than what I actually have, or what I actually should have. I'm investing in some stocks. Yeah, so you can see all this stuff over here. Here's what I'm spending this week. This week is the 3rd to the 9th. So like I said, basically, so I don't do it from Saturday to whatever. I do it from Monday to Sunday. You can do it whatever way you want. Yeah, basically this is how I have mine set up, and this is something that I keep on track of. I don't have a credit card payment that I need to be making this week, just because I don't like to spend that last week of months and stuff. But yeah, this is typically what it looks like. In general, like I hope this was helpful. And the worst case scenario, I hope you just use the Paycheck Calculator and can formulate all that stuff. If you really want to be precise, obviously do the bank account thing where you're balancing your bank account with the bills that have come out, and you're preparing to pay these bills in the future. And basically you're covering yourself for 2 weeks no matter what. And I like that. And I think that's the best way. I think a lot of people, I don't mean to be preachy, but I think a lot of people just weren't taught these things at all in school, like balancing a checkbook, and that's essentially what you're doing with this. And I think that's the huge issue that I think a lot of Americans may be facing, or I don't know what other countries' personal finance matters look like. But yeah, that's going to cover it for this. Like I said, you can find that original sheet. It is in the description below. I will also be offering services. So I will have kind of 3 services that I'm going to be offering. Basically, one, which is going to be the cheapest, is I will help you assemble your sheet. Basically, you just give me the information and I will make it look nice and pretty, and we'll go from there, and that'll be a price. That'll be the lowest price. Next up, there will be kind of like a voice call that I'll be willing to do with people, kind of like talking through some of this stuff and helping you get organized with it, and that is going to be just a little bit more. And then I will offer like a yearly kind of subscription thing, which should be relatively affordable, where basically once a month or twice a month, if you have any questions or anything, like I can be on call and we can do a meeting or something. And those prices will all be down in the description below. Feel free to use them. Feel free to not. I just hope you guys use that sheet. What you guys will need to do is go in and copy that sheet and save it to your own, own Google Sheet, Google Drive. If you do not know Excel, you should hopefully learn Excel a little bit. But yeah, that covers this video. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I hope this was really helpful. I'm gonna send this to a couple friends too, just because when we drink, I like to talk personal finance with people. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Maybe the only personal finance video I will do, but check out my other videos as well. Yeah, that's gonna do it. Bye, guys.